Look at that. I mean, it is raining right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't give a shit. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another chase on Two Wheels First Ride. In front of us, Yamaha is nice enough to have given me the Niken GT to do a first ride on. And today is going to be a special first ride. If you guys notice, we're not at the normal spot and the weather looks like garbage. Don't worry, there's a reason for that, boys and girls. Today, you and me, are rain chasers. It's not currently raining, but if I've done my meteorologic calculations correct, we will find rain today. And the reason we will find rain today is because Yamaha has told me that the Niken excels in the rain. Today I want to find that out. So we're going to be doing the first ride on this today. Let's get the cinematics going. Let's look at a sound check. And then let's go find some rain. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the sound check for the Niken GT. We're gonna have Luke come over here and rev it up. Luke, if you'll do the pleasure, please. Now, as we proceed to get kicked out of this parking deck, we're gonna head out of here. Luke, thank you for your help. All right, guys, so we got the Niken GT. Now, I've ridden the Niken before. You guys can see that first ride over there. Now, when I rode the Niken originally, I thought to myself, Yamaha, what are you doing? It had a tiny windscreen. It was black, had blue forks. But when I rode it, I felt like, oh, this bike needs to be a touring bike. It needs a couple modifications. And boom. We have the Niken GT. Fun fact, for you guys that think the Niken is stupid and nobody wants it, Nikens are sold out. You cannot buy a brand new Niken because they ain't got no more. So Niken GT is still available. This thing comes in at like $17,200 or something like that. We got a center stand. We had it on the side stand right there. Let's get that GoPro where I like it. All right, let's get this thing cranked up. If that engine sounds familiar to you, that's probably because it's a slightly modified tracer engine, which is based off of the all-famous MT/FZ09 engine. That beautiful engine that Yamaha just blessed the motorcycle market with. All right, so GT differences between the regular Niken. We have the taller windscreen. We've got this beautiful blue matte finish, the gold forks. What else? We have, so we have this power outlet here, but we have an extra one down here. And as you guys noticed a second ago, we got saddlebags. All right, let's, I'm gonna ride it just around this parking lot to get used to it. Also, my God, I need air. So I'm wearing all my rain gear. It's actually the first time I've worn all rain gear. And that's because riding in the rain sucks, and I'm trying to make it suck less bad. You guys that have never ridden a Niken before, let me go ahead and tell you, this one, just like the other one, is shocking how instantly confidence inspiring it is. You just throw it over. The bike leans over, you have no problems. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is not my first ride. I have put about 400 miles on this bike. I have gone all up in the mountains. I have scraped the pegs through the turns. So this is going to be closer to a review, because I feel confident that I can tell you guys everything I like and don't like about the Niken GT. So it is a big bike and it has a ton of pep. You guys that have ridden the FZ09 before, y'all know that this engine does not freaking play, regardless of how big this bike is. The bike has 3 modes, 1, 2, and 3, and it even has like a customizer mode or something like that. 3 is basically your wet mode. It's, you know, you got a passenger, it's going to be raining. We'll be putting it in 3 when we get to the rain, if we can ever find it. I'm in 2, which is street mode, and 1 is like full-blown mode, like I want everything, please. I've typically been riding around in 2. I find 1 to be a little jumpy for me. You know, the torque on this engine is monstrous, so you got to be a little careful. In the week or so that I've had this bike, I have seldom got as much attention on a motorcycle as I have with this Niken GT. I personally feel like part of the reasoning for that is because of the contrast between the dark blue and the gold forks. It pops a lot. Cars see you on the side of the road. People want to come up and talk to you and ask you, what the hell is that? On top of the color, obviously we've got the 2 wheels in the front. 2 wheels in the front, basically Yamaha wants you to have more traction, and supposedly it gives you traction better in the rain. So, you know, that's the whole reason for me being the idiot today and saying I'm going to go find rain in a motorcycle, which pretty sure that's the first time that's ever been said by me on this channel. Alright, so we're going to get on the highway. I have spent countless hours on the highway with this bike for testing, but I want to get on there to show you guys how the windscreen works and stuff like that. I will go ahead and tell you, the seat on this bike is incredible. For the first time in my entire life, I've been able to ride all day meaning about 8 to 10 hours, get home, and I was not exhausted. That has never happened to me before, and it happened to me on this bike. And we're not talking, you know, just lollygag around town. We're talking go to the mountains and have a good time. I did that kind of riding for 10 hours, and I felt totally fine afterwards. Even a cushy seat can start to feel like, can start to hit a certain point where it doesn't feel comfortable. Never had that happen with this seat. It's been super awesome. I've ridden with my wife with this seat because the rear seat, the passenger seat, is also like an extra comfortable seat, and my wife really liked it as well. So as far as passenger vehicle or a passenger motorcycle, this thing is solid. Supposedly this highway will lead us to rain the fastest, based on, you know, meteorologists. So we'd have a mode button down here. You can only change modes when you decelerate. I find that the mode button is a little farther over than I can really, like, look at that, my thumb can't really reach it. So that kind of sucks, it's not great. So like to click the mode over, I have to like move my hand. I wish I could just do it without moving my hand, but it's not really that big of a deal. It might be interesting to note that none of the modes change the power of the motorcycle. You know, some modes on some bikes, it actually tones the engine down. So that's not the way this bike is. Mode changes only change the throttle response, not the actual engine characteristics. So you always have 100% of the engine. What I've noticed is in 3, it tones it down a good bit up front, and then it kind of opens you up later on. So, you know, if it's raining or something like that, it's not going to let you like speed out of a turn if you're low in the RPMs. I do notice that in 3, when I'm riding with a passenger, I would kind of wish that it would maybe tone the whole engine down a little more, because I find it's a little too powerful in 3. If I'm in rain, or, you know, my wife's riding with me and I want her to have a smooth experience while riding with me. So I feel like mode 3 could be toned down a little more, but at least they've got it in there, you know what I mean? Like, if this bike is made for all-weather riding, then I kind of wish mode 3 would fit rain a little more. We are on the highway. What does everybody love on the highway? Yes, that's right, boys and girls, cruise control. This bike does have cruise control, which is one of the main reasons I am putting this bike as potentially the #1 sport touring motorcycle on our beautiful earth right now. So, cruise control, very simple to set up. We've got a cruise control button here. We click that, light comes on, we click down, set, and now we can, I don't know, we can do whatever we want to with our hands. I will note that this bike is hard to lean around with your body weight. Other bikes that I've had cruise control on, you know, you can lean side to side, and you can lean the bike and make it go in the direction you want. Can't really do it as well on the Niken, not trusting anything that's happening in front of me. I do love cruise control. You know, I bring it up on every first ride that I do, and that's because it's amazing. If you do a long ride like up into the mountains, and it's a lot of highway to get to the mountains, you're able to get there and get home without your wrist hurting, which is absolutely phenomenal. Also, the photographer in me really has this mentality that, hey, maybe one day I'll be able to do cruise control and ride with somebody and like take photos of them with my throttle hand. I don't know, you know, let a boy dream. Now, as many of you guys know, we are in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia does not allow lane splitting, so I won't be able to do that. But supposedly, the Niken does not take up, width-wise, as much room as a lot of people think. The bike does look huge, I will give you that. But, wow, brakes, brake check. But supposedly, it's not that much wider than its little brother, the Tracer 900. So hypothetically, you can lane split. I'll tell you right now, I ain't lane splitting in this thing. Nope, not happening. Especially with a motorcycle I don't own, not gonna do that. But it is cool to know that it might look big, but it doesn't take up that much more space. Look at that, that engine is revving up so quickly. It revs up shockingly fast, I will say that. I did not expect this engine to rev so fast, but boy, it will get you around. You guys saw earlier, we were on the highway and we're in mode 1. Plenty of power in this engine to, you know, chill on the highway in 6th gear, or you can rip around town and you got a lot pushing you around. I'm really a big fan of this engine. Wait, we might have rain. We're still looking for it. So as far as this big windshield, right, this is a sport touring motorcycle. Let's talk about some of the sport touring characteristics. I'm watching that traffic. So I'm gonna move my hand up and to let you know when I feel wind right there, which is right at the top of my helmet, which is something that I can concur. I have noticed that I can ride on the highway and not have any wind buffeting. If I tuck in, bro, there's no wind. So, you know, if you're touring on a motorcycle, that is definitely something you want to look into. Wind is probably one of the top 4 things that's going to tire you out in a long distance ride. So having that big windscreen is super helpful to not get you so freaking tired. I also tell you guys, not only do I have rain gear on, but I have treated the lenses of the GoPros with Rain X. I want it to start raining badly because I'm very curious what it's gonna do. And you guys will be able to find it out with me. I might have to make a video of like how to record yourself in the rain or something like that. So as far as body position on the Niken, it's very comfortable. You know, my back's upright. I know we don't have a follow car today because obviously weather, but my back is very upright. It's a super comfortable body position. My arms can just kind of like lay relatively horizontal. And what I've noticed is when I go up to the mountains and I want to get on it, I'll scoot back a little bit and I get my feet up on the pegs, and it kind of gives me more leverage side to side. I feel like it's easier to like get into a turn when you sit on it like that. That traffic is effing terrible. I don't want nothing to do with all this. We're gonna have to get off of this highway. I didn't think it would be crammed already at freaking 3:30. Alright, cool. We're gonna get out of this traffic now. We're gonna slowly get our way out. Something you guys might have noticed while we're out riding is that the Niken does have a quick shifter. Only up, it does not have the quick shifter down, but I gotta tell you, man, I have loved having the quick shifter on this bike. It really adds to that whole comfort aspect. You know, I didn't really realize this because I haven't done a lot of first rides on sport touring motorcycles, but if you break the word down, it's sport and touring, right? It should be able to be taken and having fun ridden, but it's for touring, so it needs to be comfortable. So it's like, it's threading this line, and I feel like the Niken defines the class of sport touring. I can tell you that I've leaned this thing over to the point it started scraping the peg, and didn't even realize that this bike is so easy to just throw over back and forth. I'm doing it in the rain right now, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but take my word for it. I took it up to the mountains on a dry day, and trust me, here's a clip. You can just throw the bike over. I think they say a 45-degree lean angle, and I guess because of where the weight sits on this bike, you can really just dive it in. And with that confidence of having 2 front tires, you kind of like almost unnaturally lean it over more than you would expect, and you don't worry about it. That's one thing about this bike that I can definitely say is you don't worry as much as you do with a typical super sport or any type of motorcycle with 1 front tire, you know, because you know you have that backup tire ready to help you in case you know, things get squirrely. Example, I can turn and I can just turn. Oh, it's so great. A dead end. Oh no, we don't want dead ends. That's no fun at all. Well, we can ride around the neighborhood. Oh, it is raining. Holy crap, Rain-X works amazing. So I've told guys that have looked at this bike, like, look at this turn radius, that I can just, in this small little area, I can just whip this bike around. So those people that think this bike is big and can't turn, nah bro. You can't turn if you can't turn this bike. I will say I was shocked at the turning radius on this bike when I was after a couple spats in the mountains and realizing how much you can really lean the bike over. It surprises you. You don't expect that out of such a big motorcycle. So when you start leaning over and the bike just feels super comfortable leaned over, it's really odd. That confidence that the 2 tires up front gives you can really not be understated. If you guys have never ridden a Niken, I highly recommend you look for your local Yamaha dealer or some type of event where you can go ride one, because it is really something you need to experience. I can tell you guys all day that it gives you more confidence, it gives you a little more traction and all that, but it's really something you need to experience for yourself, because it doesn't take more than probably a minute or 2 of riding this bike, doing 1 turn, and you start getting this feeling of like, why does it feel weird? And what that weird feeling is that advanced level of traction that you have compared to the motorcycles you're used to riding in. Just went over that little paint in the road, and I could feel the ABS kicking in the rear, made me remember. This bike does have traction control and ABS. If you want to wheelie it, you got to take the traction control all the way off. That's holding the button in. It'll take the traction control off. ABS works pretty well. I haven't really tested it, but the couple times it has kicked on when I've just like slammed on the rear brakes, it's been fine. Braking's been really good. You would think that the braking would be absolutely crazy because it has 2 rotors up front, but I haven't found it anything absolutely insane. I think it feels really good. The brakes easy, like come on easily and come off easily. It's not like one of those big deal Brembos that lock up instantly. I don't like those Brembos a lot, probably because I don't ride hard enough to really appreciate them. I think this windscreen is doing such a good job with the rain. Like, I'm barely getting rain on my helmet, and I think it's because the windscreen is pushing the rain over my visor. That's awesome. Man, I need a sport touring bike is what it sounds like. I think the really cool thing about the Niken, and I feel like, you know, the Niken is the Niken. There's nobody else like it. There's, you know, like the closest thing is what, a Can-Am or a Piaggio scooter? No, absolutely not. So the Niken's in a class of its own, but where the Niken really makes sense is if you consider this bike a year-round riding bike. Like, it's, the weather doesn't matter, the location doesn't matter. You've got traction for inclement weather, so you don't have to worry about what the weather's gonna be like that day. It's got the center stand, so you can do minimal maintenance like chain adjusting and chain waxing and cleaning. You can do that stuff on the road. You don't need anything in it really makes me feel like what Yamaha had in their head with this bike was, we want to make the perfect sport touring bike for the person that is going to be riding long distances. Because if you're doing a big trip, you can't just wake up one morning in your hotel room and be like, all right, I got 300 miles to ride today. Oh, it's raining? Darn, I'm just gonna sit in my hotel room. It doesn't work like that, man. When you're doing a long trip, you're getting up and you're riding through whatever you're gonna ride through. So I feel like this bike is purpose built for that kind of person. The luggage that this bike has on it is soft luggage and is removable, so you could ride with all your stuff in the bags, and then when you get to your location, you could like take them out and take them inside. I wasn't getting to turn quite as much. Look at that, it's raining. I go over the white stuff on the road. I don't worry about it at all because I know I've got that added traction. Whereas typically it'd be like, whoa, paint the road, be careful. You don't have to worry about that with this bike, and it's, man, it really starts making sense when you, even if you don't have bad weather. You know, when I was in the mountains and riding this bike, you know, you come through a couple turns and you're like, oh, is it gonna have gravel? I found that I did not worry about that nearly as much on the Niken, because it's like, okay, but what are the odds of gravel being on both contact patches of both front tires? Because, you know, you guys that are watching this video, you guys have probably, you know, you might be looking into Nikens, and you guys look at the bike from the outside looking in a lot. But I'm gonna tell you, if you ride this bike around, it's gonna take you 5 minutes and one turn to entirely forget that this bike has two front tires. It does not act like some weird three-wheeled vehicle. It acts exactly like a two-wheeled bike. It does not stand up on its own. If I do this, we will eventually come to a stop and the bike will fall over. Like, there's no self-balancing. I'm sure Yamaha could have made that, but I don't think that's what Yamaha's doing with this thing. I think they're, whoa, buddy. Wow, he slammed no brakes and it was like, does that thing got two wheels in the front? Yes, sir, it does have two wheels in the front. So suspension-wise, I've told you guys before, I'm not really confident in myself to be able to be like, yeah, the suspension's great. I mean, I thought it's amazing. I've never had any issues. I've gone ham in the North Georgia mountains. I've done everything I can on this bike and I've never had an issue. I was even riding the bike with the Yamaha guy. We came over some road. We weren't on the road that I was typically on. We were like doing some new stuff. Came over one road. Damn, these people be coming to these red lights quick. We came over one hill, hit a gravel road. Like, the maps did not say shit about it being gravel. Hit gravel, suspension was fine. It was terrifying, but it was fine. Here we go, fam. Here we go. Look at that. I mean, it is raining right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't give a shit because I got double, I don't got double the traction up front, but I think it adds 80, it has 80% more traction. The reason this bike doesn't have 100% more traction than a regular bike is because the tires up front are smaller than a regular motorcycle. There's the ABS kicking in. Can we make it kick in more? Yeah, we can. ABS works fine. Rear tire didn't lock up. So, ding. Dude, dead honest, I've never enjoyed riding in the rain until this very moment. I have never had to not care riding around in the rain on a motorcycle that's enjoyable. Anytime I've ever ridden before, it's like, oh man, this isn't fun. But this is legit fun. I've never had fun while in the rain. Oh, I'm gonna remember this one. Before I continue to have my jollies sitting here in the rain on the Niken GT, let's go ahead and get a wrap up. Oh my God, red light to red light, dude. You just throttle it. You don't have to care. Oh God, so great, so great. Can I go? Damn right I can. Oh look, white stuff on the road, don't care. Oh my God, that is nuts, dude. That's absolutely nuts. All right, enough of this, Chase. You gotta wrap it up, you gotta stop. All right, so Niken GT, the sport touring beast. Who is this bike for? I mean, it's in the name, man, sport touring. If you are going to ride a lot, this bike is $17,200 or something like that. It ain't cheap, so you gotta have some dough. But, I mean, comparatively to other sport touring bikes, it ain't that bad. But, it's not a cheap motorcycle, and I feel like I was saying earlier, this bike is for someone that is going to do either a ton of miles, or you are gonna be doing a ton of miles year round. Or maybe something like, I don't know, commuting. If you commute, if you want no car and you want a motorcycle, this is a solid motorcycle to get, because this is your all-weather bike. You can ride it for as many miles as you want and in any weather you want, and it does not matter. You are gonna have a phenomenal level of traction regardless if the roads are dirty, if they're dry, if they're wet, it doesn't matter. And you have that confidence that you've got traction up front. Guys, if you're watching this video or you watched other Niken videos, you are not going to appreciate this motorcycle until you ride it. I will promise you that. Having ridden as many motorcycles as I have, I can tell you with 100% certainty, you will not appreciate this bike until you ride it, and then when you do, you will be surprised. Guaranteed 100%. I can confidently say this motorcycle is the best sport touring bike on the market right now. For an all-weather motorcycle that you can ride year-round, this is it. This is literally, in my opinion, the pinnacle of motorcycling if you are going to be doing some sort of touring. Let's do a big turn. Let's turn all the way. Oh, I forgot about this turn. It's also raining. I also don't care. What is... I would not do this on a regular bike. What is this guy doing, dude? I'm on a Niken. I can do whatever I want. Oh my God. Dude, I've taken that turn before, and there is no way in absolute hell I would have gone at that lean angle in the freaking rain. Could you tell? Could you tell we look like this? Oh my goodness. Freaking Niken GT, man. Dude, no lie. No lie. Whether you like the way the bike looks or not, I don't care. It's subjective. This is a phenomenal feat of engineering. Who would have thought you can make a motorcycle that is fun to ride in the rain? Alright guys, if you got to this point in the video, make sure to hit that like button. It is massively appreciated over here on the channel. I'm Chase on Two Wheels. This has been a Chase on Two Wheels first ride. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out all the other first rides that I do. There will be a playlist link in the description down below. I ride a ton of motorcycles for you guys to give you guys a better understanding of what it's like riding a bike for the first time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you like motorcycle content, man, subscribe to the channel. I do a ton of stuff. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. I'm gonna go enjoy riding in the freaking rain, because what the hell? Why would I not? Oh man, what a good one. All right, I gotta pull over and get all my stuff turned off. Outro crew, who in their right mind would have thought that this bike is this good in the rain? Never in my life. This is not the right bike for me right now, but later in my life, when I want to do more long distance trips and stuff like that, I could easily see myself on one of these. It is going to be super sad to have to give this thing back. All right guys, I'm Chase on Two Wheels. I'll see you on the next one.